We'll now write unit tests for some other methods. First, take a look at the coder class. A coder instance is an object which represents a user that has a certain height, weight, age, and gender. Below there are standard methods like public constructors and lots of getters and setters. Now go to the BMI calculator class and take a look at the second method, find coder with worst BMI. This method accepts a list of coders and returns the coder with the worst body mass index, so essentially with the worst weight to height ratio. Internally, the method uses a private calculate BMI method, which returns the body mass index for a given coder. Alright, it's time to write a unit test for find coder with worst BMI. Go to BMI calculator test class and create a new method with the addTest annotation. Do remember about the annotation though. If you skip it, the method will never be executed as a unit test. The method will be named should return coder with worst BMI when coder list not empty, and remember about the given when then convention. In the given part, we need to create a list of coders, named coders, which will be a new array list. And now we need to add a few coders to our list. I'll just copy and paste the data, but you can pause the video and type it for yourself. Alright, you can immediately recognize that the second coder will have the worst BMI. Now in the when part, we expect a coder class object named coder worst BMI, invoke the BMI calculator dot find coder with worst BMI method. And now for the then part. To check for equality, we can use assert equals. The first argument is the expected value of 1.82, and the second argument is the actual value, so coder worst BMI get height. And we can do this very same thing with the weight. Assert equals. We want the weight of 98, and coder worst BMI get weight. So these are the parameters of the second coder in the list that has the worst BMI score. Okay, if we now run the test, everything is fine, but there is a subtle problem. If the first assertion fails, the second one will never be executed. Let's do an experiment. Change the expected height to 1.85 and the expected weight to 98.5. And now we know that both of these values are wrong. So let's try to run the test again. You can see that the test failed, but we only get to know that the first assertion failed. However, we don't know anything about the second assertion. In this case, we don't know if it's just the first assertion that fails or both of them. This is where assert all comes in handy. We need to wrap both assertion with assert all call. Let me do that quickly. And inside, assert all, just like assert throws, expects lambda expressions. So we need to add empty pairs of brackets and arrow operators, and instead of semicolons, use a comma between these two. Do some reformatting, and there we go. The assert all is ready. All right. Now if we run the test again, we can see that both assertions failed. In more complicated unit tests, this piece of information could be very useful. Alright, let's make the test pass again, 1.82, 98 kilograms, and there we go. To sum up, assert all should be used for assertions that make sense as a whole. Here, we want to make sure that both the weight and the height of the coder are as expected because the BMI formula uses both of these fields. If we just checked for height, we wouldn't know which of the two coders were returned. That's why we decided to use assert all and check for both weight and height at the same time.